How is she an
I
alcoholic?
literally breathe in her face, and this is what happens.
She smells strawberries, not alcohol.
Hey, it's strawberries. It's strawberries. Mommy, why? I want to say strawberries.
No.
Oh, what do you think?
I think it'll work. Sit up. I'm recording.
Now, is this a family-friendly or not family-friendly?
Try to not curse just because YouTube doesn't always like it. I mean, it's specifically because it asks if the video is made for kids or not. I say no because it's not intended for children. But, I mean, not that I have a thing of monetization right now, but just because YouTube can be really dumb. Hey everybody, how's it going? We're back with another video. Sorry that last Friday there wasn't a video, but I am a little on vacation, so I was like, okay, we're not going to worry about Friday's video. But I'll let this person right here introduce themselves.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Name's Zero. You might have seen, my comments or anything down below here on this lovely lady's channel. Hey, I'm kind of here to stay. If you ever heard the little husband she's talking about, oh yeah, it's kind of me. She came down here for the vacation, and we're here to give you a awesome review of the game that we're going about, Town of Salem. If you haven't heard of it, definitely recommend downloading on your phone.
Okay, but as he said, we're talking about Town of Salem. So first, we're going to talk about the gameplay.
Hey, gameplay, like I was saying, like I'm going to be saying, very fun, very deceptive. They also have a card game, but I've never played the card game, but heard it's pretty fun.
The basics of how it works on the mobile is there's not much like action per se. A lot of it is just chatting, and then for certain roles you can do things at night, some of them you can't, but then you just click on the name of whoever it is, like say you're the jailer, you just click on who you want to jail. You can throw them in jail, and then you can talk to them, and it obviously doesn't reveal who you are. And then you just go from there. And most of it is just talking in the chat, but it is still really fun. Like, it's not your normal video game. It's one of those just kind of online multiplayer type things.
And for that, like she was saying, online multiplayer, very good fun party game. If you can somehow get your hands on the card game, you'll notice that there's a lot more roles than in the mobile.
Yeah, from what we've read, the card game is quite different. We want to get it, but we don't really have an opinion on the card game because we don't have it. So I don't know how it is comparatively, necessarily.
Yeah, because for the base game, without any form of expansion or anything like that, you want to go ahead and hit the rolls?
No. Okay, so no, here's how we're going to do it. Okay, so we talked about the gameplay. He's new here, don't mind him. So, we talked about the gameplay, and now we're going to talk about, it's not going to take long, but the very basic of the story, and then after that we'll get into like our thoughts and opinions of specifics and stuff. The basic of the story is we're just going to go over like the conditions for winning. So you have town, mafia, serial killer, jester, executioner. For town to win, you have to find all the mafia and the serial killer, you win. Mafia, they just have to kill everybody. There's 3 mafia members. You want to say the last 3?
So going off that, you have your neutral roles, which they can either be neutral evil or neutral good. You have neutral evil roles, such as the executioner. Him, you gotta get the target that's pre-designated to have him get hanged. One of the hardest roles, I want to say. You gotta basically make everyone believe you that this guy right here needs to get hanged.
And that person can obviously easily enough, counterclaim like, no, I'm not a bad person. So that's why it's one of the hardest, because you can't just throw the game for yourself. You have to get, like, the game thrown for someone else.
Now we're going into our other neutral role. You also have the jester. Those executioner and jester kind of go hand in hand. So if the executioner's target dies, he also becomes a jester. No, correction, dies at night. Dies at night.
If he is murdered, yes.
He will become a jester as well. Now, a jester has to get themselves hanged. And if they do, then whoever voted them guilty or abstained from the voting process, at night the jester can have someone kill themselves from jester's guilt.
And that is something to add, because a lot of people seem to forget that, because we see it all the time. People like, but I abstained. Abstaining is basically the same as voting guilty in the world of the jester. The only way to avoid having the jester kill you is to vote innocent.
Now let's go into our other neutral role. This is also a neutral evil role. One of my favorites to play. Serial killer. So, at night, you kind of show up as, if I remember correctly, they don't show up as evil until they murder someone.
Oh, is that?
If I remember correctly. I don't quote me on that.
I mean, anytime I played serial killer, I kill on the first night, so.
I do forget about that, but for your objective to win, murder every single person. So at night, unless it is by the jester, you cannot be killed. Godfather can't go up and kill you. You can get executed by the jailer, but you can't really be killed at night by someone else.
Or you can be killed by a Vidge or Vet, right? If you go to visit
Yes,
Vet
yes.
will kill you, Vidge can shoot you.
Yes, so there's certain levels of defense and certain levels of offense. If you have a certain level of defense, you can't be killed, such as the executioner. You can't be killed at night.
And also, just to note, these are stats that like they don't show up. They're just kind of, a lot of this is stuff you just kind of learn as you play the game.
Let me interject on that. Correct?
Is
In
there
the
a
top left, it does.
Oh, well, see, I never looked at that. I just figured out the roles as I went and be like, oh yeah, that's right. That's Godfather can't kill serial killers, so.
So eventually, you kind of learn what role could do what, how you can actually use that role to your advantage, such as, for example, you play the investigator. Also one of my favorite roles to play. If you investigate someone, they can come up as 3 roles. For example, you can have bodyguard. So you investigate someone who's a bodyguard, they can show up as Godfather, they can show up as bodyguard, and they can show up as something else. So it's normally 2 good, 1 bad, or sometimes 2 bad, 1 good. So if you try to investigate a serial killer, you can show up as a doctor. It doesn't exactly tell you what it is on the digital version. The card game, I heard, is completely different. They have to reveal exactly what they are.
Because for investigator, how it'll show up on the screen is it'll say your target is either Godfather, executioner, or bodyguard.
Right.
Just as an example, it'll say like he's one of these 3 things. So then you just have to go from there and see how they're acting to try and figure out which of those 3 roles are they possibly.
And
Yeah,
a lot of this is definitely pay attention. There's a lot of people. I played with a lot of towns who weren't the brightest, I want to say. And you can get your fellow townies killed if you don't pay attention on that. Like,
yeah.
I've been a vigilante. I've accidentally shot another person just because, they tell me they're one thing and it turns out they're not. And then vigilante is one of those other ones. If you shoot an innocent person, you die from guilt.
Or there has even been the case of a lot of innocent townies died, and then I got yelled at because I was vet one time, and how vet works is if you go on alert, you literally shoot anybody who comes to your place. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad, you don't die. But I had already been proven as vet, and then again, I went on alert another night, had like 3 townspeople come. People like, vet, why are you shooting everybody? And it's like, well, I don't know why people were coming, because it was said, I am vet, don't come visit me, because I could be on alert. So it's things like that you have to pay attention to be like, if you're a sheriff and this person is vet, don't visit them, because there is a chance they are on alert and you will die. So it's things like that you have to pay attention.
There's that, or for example, I could be a doctor, random town could be a spy, confirmed, 100% confirmed, but let's say she's serial killer. Tells me that, hey, I'm doctor. I was like, no, that's a lie, because I'm the doctor. It's basically, you kind of gotta...
Because explaining with that, there can only be one random town, and random town is either a double roll or something like a more uncommon role like spy or bodyguard. So if you've already had like a double role and you found out you had 2 doctors, so then you have medium and someone else is trying to claim medium, one of those mediums is lying. Now, to be fair, they also could be lying to try and get themselves hanged. That is a very common thing for Jester to do, is to counterclaim to get themselves hanged. So, you do have to be careful with it, because again, if you vote guilty, you could be a person chosen to die. So that is something to, when people counterclaim, be a little careful, because they might be doing it on purpose so that the town will hang them.
And that's also one of my other favorite roles, Jester. How many times have I actually confused you 100% of the time? You believe me, and I turn out to be a Jester.
That's why I don't trust you in Town of Salem anymore.
Yeah, I know.
I don't trust you even when you say you're not SK, because what happens? You come up SK and you freaking murdered me.
I mean,
I don't trust you.
It kind of be like that sometimes, guys. I'm sorry, you know. Like,
I gave you the benefit of the doubt that one night. You were like, I was framed, and you were not framed. And I was sitting there, and then you ended up killing me. I should have just turned you in.
I'm saying that kind of sounds like a personal problem.
I should have turned you in.
Might have to, get some marriage counseling for that, for the trust issues and everything. But, that's besides the point.
What are the odds that Framer would have picked you that night? Because the thing is, Sheriff, they just show up suspicious or innocent. And there is a role in Godfather, Framer, who they can make anybody show up guilty. So even if you're a doctor, if they frame you that night, and someone investigates the doctor, he will show up as guilty. So it's just little nuances like that.
So, I mean, we're not going to go too much into every single role. You're going to have to do that yourself, go up there, play the game. Like I said, my personal opinion, I recommend it about 4 out of 5.
Out of 5?
4 out of 5, yeah.
Alright.
About 4 out of 5, just because, with the mobile game, there's also a computer variant, but the mobile game, there's a little bit of iffy parts, and it's kind of buggy.
It can be a little harder because the problem I have is trying to type quick enough because maybe it's just me being dumb. Well, no, not partly because, you only have the 2 thumbs instead of a whole hand on the keyboard in order to type. So it'll take you a minute longer to type. But if it's something you're interested in, but when you go in, you don't know anything about it, probably what might be a good idea is look up either a gameplay video on YouTube or someone streaming it. Because they'll probably kind of talk through the basics of it and everything, so you can at least kind of know. And because there's things like, oh, I was RB, someone CC, the little that's in any game that you need to learn what that kind of lingo is. If you are playing and you don't know what RB is, just straight up say in the chat, hey, I'm new, what does RB mean? Someone can explain it to you, that it's role blocked. If you don't know what something is, just ask in the chat. People will be more than happy to be like, this is what that means. So that way you know. So you don't accidentally make yourself look guilty because you don't know what people are asking you.
And there's been countless of times that I have seen where, example, an escort, which is another one of the good guy roles, that, hey, it's your role that goes around, gives you a little bit of fun time. At night, stop someone from doing whatever they're doing because, hey, they're thinking about it for a little bit of enjoyment,
I think the only one they can't stop is SK, right?
That is correct. They cannot stop the serial killer. So if you try to go investigate, not investigate, roll block the serial killer, you will be killed.
Which can be useful in itself because you have a will and you write down in your will, hey, this is who, and this is a big thing to help. This is who I visited that night. This is, depending what you are, if they came up suspicious for escort, because if you have escort, I visited someone this night and you died on that night, there's a pretty good chance the person you were visiting might have been SK or something. So it's something that it's very important. The will is extremely important to have.
Exactly, and like I said, a lot of this does come from experience. Even myself, I'm about 100 games in, and I still make mistakes and everything like that.
Mistakes all the time, except when I was jailer that one night. I was killing everybody.
I mean, I'm not saying it kind of helped, but
Yeah, you did, but see, I was a good jailer. I was a good jailer. I executed the bad people. I did good on that jailer.
With my assistance, but
With the assistance of the town too, to make sure.
nah, I am the town.
Emperor Palpatine says, "I am the Senate."
No, I am the town.
No, or it could be like when you were executioner and you had the one guy who easily could have saved himself and he was your target and he did nothing and got mad at everybody else.
Oh, absolutely.
And like people weren't even mad at you because they're like, he playing how he was supposed to. You could have saved yourself and you didn't.
Exactly, and that's just another thing that I'm saying, hey, pay attention. The small little minute details, you gotta convince at least 14 other people. Out of a 15-player game, 14 other people. It's hard.
And another thing I do want to say, I've only seen it happen once. If you are playing on the computer or on the phone, like we'll play and we will be video chatting, don't do the thing where if they say, hey, I'm this role, you just take that knowledge, don't break the fourth wall. Because there will be times, he found out who I am, I found out who he is, but we don't bring it into the game to be like, oh, he's SK because he told me. Figure it out organically through the game. Don't be cheating like that, because that is considered cheating. You can get reported for it. People don't like it because it makes the game not fun. It defeats the whole purpose of the game. It's not saying you can't, video chat or even be in the same room with friends and, even tell them what your role is, but just don't use it then in a way that ends up you're cheating. Because nobody likes that. It makes the game not fun.
Yeah, like she's saying, hey, no one likes those guys. As a fellow gamer, I don't know if you guys are, but no one likes a cheater. Because then you have some little 12-year-old yelling at you over Xbox or in this case a phone. Because everyone always says, oh, hey, this game's on your phone, right? Yeah, then they're going to be sitting there probably crying to their mommy and everything like that, and you're going to end up with a report and a ban. So. Or
even the thing of you don't like the role you got, so you throw the game. That's not as big a deal, but it is still really annoying. It's just because you don't like the role you got, don't just throw the game, because then you're going to piss off. Because I've had plenty of people who were Mafia, and they threw the game because they didn't want to be Mafia, and basically made it no fun for the other two Mafia members, and them not even really have as much of a chance. Just because they were whiny that they got stuck being Mafia.
Guilty on that. That's the only reason why I did that.
Have you done that?
I've only done it one time.
Why'd you do it?
Because they threw me under the bus to get hanged. For no reason.
Oh, okay. So, in that regard, if they're turning on you, then yeah, you can do that, but...
Yep. So they threw me under the bus. They didn't tell me what the plan was. They just threw me under the bus. So I was like, you know what? Fuck those guys.
Okay, there are some instances, but if it's just you rolled your framer and you're like, I don't want to be framer, so then you just purposely throw it to try, because you don't want to be framer or whatever. Or doing the thing where you just leave the game. That happens in-game when it happens. They, say apparently the person committed, don't say the S word. Can't say that on YouTube, but deleting yourself from the world. There we go. That's what they kind of call it, and when a person disconnects from the game. Don't be that person who disconnects, especially on the first night. Because it's just boring when you get a bunch of people disconnecting. It's just not as fun.
Yeah, it really isn't, because then, it's like, oh, this guy, died over guilt. So, he kind of leaves, because,
And I swear half the time when they disconnect, it's a good roll, like you lose a doctor or something, and you're like, great.
Yeah, you lose a doctor, you lose whatever you are, so, if you're good, it's going to be someone good.
I feel like I've seen a lot of Godfathers disconnect, too, which is kind of funny, actually.
A lot of Godfathers.
A lot of Godfathers
I've seen a lot of mediums disconnect. I've seen a lot.
Well, there's mediums curse, so I can't blame them.
Well, I mean, mediums curse, for everyone that doesn't know, it's always night one. You start up, hey, hey, I'm medium, right? Got it.
It always seems like day two, the medium is dead. It's just a thing. A lot of the times, medium, and it's not even they purposely pick medium, because on the first night especially, they're just randomly picking someone, and that ends up being the medium. So it's just medium's curse.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but I mean, hey, it'd be like that sometimes. But if you don't, like you're saying, if you hit a roll that you don't like, let's play out the game. Each game only lasts about maybe 10 minutes.
Because another thing too, actually, speaking of medium, now that I think about it, just because you die, don't disconnect. You can still win. Because as long as town wins, if you're a townie, you still win. And two, if medium does survive, you can be very helpful to the medium. But also don't disconnect just because you died. Because there is a chance you still could win the game just because you as an individual died. And you can be extremely helpful, because a lot of the times how they find people is the dead chat talking to the medium to be like, hey, I know this person has to be this person. Like, I know this person has to be serial killer. Medium brings it to the front, and then you end up getting the serial killer or whatever. Like, just because you're dead, you can still win, and you can still be very helpful if the medium is alive.
So there's that, and if you do die as the medium, you have an ability called Seance. You get one per game, but you can talk to someone alive and tell them all the information you got.
Because we've had someone who was like, I'm gonna seance. Is this the person I need to say is guilty? What do I need to say? They seanced, so that way we could get that person caught. I think we ended up getting them caught, right? Or at least they tried to seance. They did their best.
No, the medium and the person who he was talking to was stupid.
Yeah, because that could be the thing too, is like the person can be doing their best, but the town just isn't listening or whatever. So like in that instance, it was not the medium's fault. They seanced, they said what they needed to say. Or you sometimes do get the medium who flat out ignores the dead chat and will not push the person we're saying to push. That's extremely annoying.
That happens.
It's
So many times. Please do not be that guy. Like, if there is, like, let's say you're a medium, you're down to the final 3. You have 12 other people saying, hey, it's this dude. It's probably this guy.
Was that the last game we were talking about where it was, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was the last guy.
I'm pretty sure everybody in the dead chat was just screaming at their phone or computer. I know we were.
Yeah,
so
this
mad.
guy was extremely dumb, and I was the vigilante, I believe, in that game.
Yeah, I think you accidentally shot an innocent townie.
I mean, he could, yeah.
Yeah, I think you shot a townie.
It's because the medium told me something. The medium told me that it's, hey, it's this dude. It's like,
oh yeah, you shot them and you ended up, it was a townie, so you died over guilt.
That's example A, and just got pay attention to the details. So anyway, that's a little bit of the gameplay. What else we got on our agenda?
Oh, well, I mean, we basically then just kind of went into our thoughts and opinions on the game, so we basically talked about the whole game.
So going about that, talk about the entire game. Going personal opinions, like I said, honestly of the game, my favorite roles, if you're paying attention during this entire time, it's definitely either serial killer, investigator, sometimes vigilante. Vigilante is a little bit hard, and Jester.
That can be fun because you make that PTSD joke. It is so funny because it's happened, like, 4 people come up shot by the vet, and you just get in the chat that PTSD though. Because, like I said, if you're vet and you go on alert, anybody who comes to your door, you're going to shoot them. So, and vet feels no guilt over it. Vet just keeps going. He's not like Vitch, he just keeps going. So, but you do only get 3 alerts. So it's not like every night you're just this invincible person who just shoots everybody that comes to your door.
I'm going about that. What would you say is your favorite role? Or favorite roles? Besides. Top 3.
Top 3?
Top 3.
Okay, vet's pretty fun. This is in no particular order. Vet's pretty fun. I like being sheriff because sheriff can be entertaining. And then Jester just.
Hey, so this is editing me speaking from the future, and I'm sorry the video got cut off and I'm recording on my webcam. That's why the camera is like really bad and like the microphone's probably terrible. I don't know what happened to the rest of the video. I guess the camera cut off or something. That'll be something I have to look into because this is a new camera. But either way, I'll just do the outro now. If you go ahead and leave your comments below if you've ever played this game or have any thoughts or anything like that. If you like this video, go ahead and click the like button, but you don't have to. But keep in mind it does help me know what kind of videos you like to see and whatnot. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. I upload every Monday and Friday. Every Friday is talking about definitely something video games. Mondays usually talking about video games, but could also be some other kind of nerdy thing. if I feel like it, and then I just upload a vlog whenever I vlog something and feel like it. So anyway, that is it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!